Alright, what you see here is a Hampton Bay Minuet II ceiling fan in the Satin brass finish. This is a earlier version of the Minuet II. I had them like this for a bit, and then they made a version with the integrated light kit with regular crescent brackets. And then they switched it over to those circular ones, similar to the ones that you'd see on the Hampton Bay San Marino. But yeah, this one is made by Powermax, and as you can see, it has white blades for the reverse side instead of rosewood. Something that you'd see on a lot of fans back in the 90s. Well, brass ones usually did have either white, oak or rosewood, or oak or walnut for the reverse side. But there was a few of them that actually had white for the reverse side. And honestly, seeing how white and brass, or modern brass and white, is a trend that's been on the fan market for the past few years now, I gotta say, this fan definitely was ahead of its time in terms of like finish combination, because it's something that's didn't really trend back then, and it went away for almost a good 16 to 17-ish years, and then it came back within the past few years. Had something like this been sold nowadays in Home Depot, it probably would have sold a lot better, like brass fans with white blades and such. Especially, it's not a polished brass, it's not antique brass, but it's a Satin brass. And that's definitely a finish that's been seen on a lot of showroom fans nowadays. It makes it look like a more of a newer fan, in all honesty. If it was a polished brass one, that's a different story, but the fact that it's Satin brass makes it look like something that was sold in today's market. This one is from March of 1998, and it is made by Powermax. I gotta say, I do prefer if it had rosewood or walnut blades on it for the reverse side, but I do like the white on it. On this specific fan, I prefer one or the other. But it doesn't look bad in this finish at all. I actually do like it. But if I was to have a different option, it'd probably one of those two. But yeah, it definitely would look good in a vintage kitchen and such. Like, it's funny because white and polished brass, like finish wise, doesn't really seem to work with today's style too much. But if it was like an all brass fan with white blades, I noticed that definitely seems to work out and such. But yeah. Now, this is the childhood version I saw on the display as a kid. And interestingly enough, the one that was on the display didn't have white blades on the reverse side. So it either had, maybe they did sell this exact version with non-white blades for the reverse side. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. I do know that the version that came out after this, which is the other Minuet II that I have in Satin brass, that specific one that I have has oak and rosewood blades, but I have seen pictures of that version being shown with white blades. So yeah, it's also with the like the Hampton Bay Chathams. I know the polished brass ones especially, they had the reverse option of oak or white for the blades. So he probably did switch this back to rosewood, maybe. I'm not too sure, but it is possible. Definitely would look really good in the kitchen or like a bakery with this finish combo. Let me show off the lighting behind me. A bit more of an accurate lighting test. Lights up the space pretty well. It's just one 60-watt LED bulb inside. But yeah, I'm just looking at it, and it looks so much like a fan that you see nowadays. Although this fan's over 20 years old. It was right around like 2018 or 2017 that like Satin brass or like modern brass was something that was becoming a trend. So it's almost like this fan, like 20 years later, this finish combo that you see on this specific one right now is something that came to be a big style trend later on. especially Hunter. That's a company that's been really killing it with that finish combo on the fan market today. I know a lot of people have been saying that they'd love to see the Hunter original in Satin brass with white blades. That definitely will be an interesting one. I do know that the bright brass ones in the 80s, they did sometimes will come with white blades. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I have seen some with white blades, unless the blades were painted. I remember there was a video of two later versions of the Hampton Bay landmarks from the 90s. They look just like the 2000s one with the white, just without the white kit, and had the logo. It was like on somebody's channel. It was two of them in a salon, and they both had white blades. And originally, I thought that the blades were painted, but I didn't know that. I'd forgotten that Hampton Bay had done this with some of the brass fans, where they had white for the reverse side instead of rosewood or walnut. It's a memory that was long forgotten. Yeah, I honestly prefer this fan with the oak blades, but that's just me. But it doesn't look bad in this finish combo either. I actually really do like it. It's just a specific fan. I just like it a lot more with the oak side. But depending on where I'd install it, obviously I could make it work with the white side. But just for childhood reasons, I do like it more with the oak blades facing down. Now, if it was a different fan with a Satin brass finish and white blades, that would be a different story. Like, it really does depend on where it's being installed, and the decor in the room and such. Like if it was like in a room that had like a sunroom or something like that, like a flower room in a house, I definitely think the white blades would look better on it. Yeah, it's definitely moving good breeze on low. Yeah, I definitely would like to find there's a newer Hunter fan that they have that I know it's in these modern brass finish. It's called a Hepburn. I really would like to get that one in it, that finish combo. It kind of looks like a vintage fan with the finish combo on it. I wouldn't mind finding one in a different finish as well. I know they have a white one at the White and Weeds that's near me, the showroom. It's on a display. Maybe they'll sell that one at some point in the future, since I do know that they're trying to sell off all the Casablancas and Hunters they have at that showroom, just because they're not carrying products from them no more and such. So maybe the display one will be for sale at some point in the future. Yeah, at first I didn't like this look on it, but after a while it has grown on me. I think it's just more so that I wasn't really used to seeing an all brass fan with white blades. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the white version did come with white blades in like an oak for reverse side, and then later on bleached oak. I remember in the catalogs they did show it with darker wood blades, like this version of it in white, but in white with darker wood blades. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is possible. All right, now it'll move it up to medium. But yeah, I was thinking about installing this in my mom's closet, or more so the closet where I keep a lot of the new unboxed fans, because we keep the noisy bird there at night, since he likes to scream a lot in the morning. So just so he doesn't wake us up and other tenants in the apartment, we move his cage there at night, and we take him out in the morning. But I was like, oh, we should put a fan in there, that way in the summertime he'll be able to breathe in there and such. So I ended up putting the Nutone fan deluxe in there, the 36-inch one with the white. And honestly, this would have been a better fan in there, but just I kind of rather have the Nutone in there just because it's cooler. But this one would definitely be a bit more efficient because it would fit in there a little bit better. There'd be more space from the walls compared to the Nutone. And all honesty, at some point I honestly might put this in there if I wanted to like preserve the Nutone for and such. I also kind of want to preserve this for when I get my own place and not find a spot to install, because this is definitely something I'm going to try to install when I get my own place. Maybe if it was like a small kitchen or definitely a hallway install, I can use it for. If anything, I'd really love to use it in a closet. So this though, I kind of didn't want to put this one in there only because it was new in the box. If it was a used one, that's a different story. But at the same time, when I had when it was summer of last year, when I was moving the stuff out of this basement, I was trying to like test the stuff that I had lined up already disassembled and just get those ones tested. And this one I didn't know if it was going to hum a lot or not, because the other one that I have in Satin Brass hummed a lot when I tested it down here. So yeah. Plus the other thing is, if I had to change the bulb on this in that closet, I'd just be more afraid of dropping the globe since it's a lot more high up. And why I don't need 4 lights in that closet, it's definitely more appealing. But the other thing is, I feel like the breeze from this will be a bit too much for the birds, even though it's not as powerful as the Nutone. With it having more space, it'll definitely push a stronger breeze, and they don't need that strong of a breeze. It just needs to be enough that they can breathe fine in the closet. I just don't want it to be too overwhelming for them. I mean, even on a low speed, it would possibly be a bit overwhelming for them. But this fan definitely does move a lot of air. Oh yeah, this one's basically dead silent compared to the other one. I mean, the other one is made by SMC, so that kind of does make sense there. All right, let me go ahead and move it up to the high speed. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite version of the Minuet series. Like, I know they sell the Minuet 3 on the Home Depot website still. I honestly do wish that they actually made that one in this finish combo, with like maybe like a walnut side and then white blades on the reverse side. Even though a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of it, I do think that it would work in that finish. Yeah, it's not even wobbling at all either, which is nice. But yeah, this would definitely, if it was for me, like if I was to really need a fan in the closet or in that closet, I would honestly prefer this one in there, because this actually would move a bit more air into the Nutone, only because it would fit in that closet a little bit better. But at the same time, since the Nutone's already put up there, I'd rather just leave it alone. basically on a low speed, the Nutone pushes a lot more of a gentle breeze than this one does. So that's kind of the main reason why I had the Nutone. But if it wasn't for the birds being in there at night, I would probably have this one in there instead. Although I do like the Nutone in there more, in terms of efficiency, this one would definitely be a bit better just because it's a little bit smaller than the Nutone. And the Nutone's like not even, it's like maybe an inch away from the wall on both sides. Or on two sides of it, that is. Well, yeah, it definitely cranks out a ton of air on high speed. And the one thing I've noticed is there's two of them I've seen in person since I was a kid. The one is in the confession room at a church, and then one in the party room at a racetrack place. The one that's at the church, I am pretty sure that it has white blades. Cause I've noticed that the trim on it looks more white than brown on the blades. But the one that's at the party room, I'm not. I honestly think that one might not have white reverse blades on it. The only issue is it's in such a dark space where it is. It's kind of hard to really tell. And also, it's not cleaned all that often like the one that's at the church. So that's another thing. But yeah, no, this thing's definitely like on par with a lot of 30-ish inch fans from like showrooms and such. Like it's definitely on par with an Emerson Northwind. I can definitely say that without a question. Like it actually honestly might outperform the Hunter bathroom dressing room. But that one I can't really say for sure that it does, even though I have one installed in my bathroom. That one's flush mounted. And I never have tested that on the down rod. So I can't really determine if it is more powerful than that, but it's definitely about this. At the same time, the Emerson Northwind, I've tested the 29-inch one. I've never tested that one on a down rod either. So, but it's definitely pretty close to the performance of like a showroom fan. Like I've tested a lot of 30-inch, 32-inch fans and companies, so like Vortexes and such. Those are good air movers, but this thing definitely outperforms them by a long mile and such. Oops, I forgot. That front one's delay. I'm going to go ahead and show it reverse after it's done spinning down. Spin down is going to be pretty short on it, only because the bearings have not broken in completely, due to the fact that it's a new in-box fan. I know that the one that's at the party room, that one had a pretty long spin down. It had like a spin down of 5 to 7 minutes, I think it was. Since this one's never been run except for the test videos, so kind of doesn't. It's not the best judgment on saying if this one has good bearings or not because they just haven't broken in yet. Plus, it's a smaller fan too, so that's another reason. But if the bearings are broken in yet, I definitely know it will probably have a lot longer bearings. Not longer bearings, a longer spin down. It's funny, I've never seen a small fan with like a small 6-weighted fan have such a long spin down like that one did. But yeah, let me go ahead and show it on the other on the other speeds quickly. But yeah, it's also on reverse. It doesn't really wow it out either, which is nice. All right, and now for high. Alright, and that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.